At the time, he weighed over 270 pounds, and his doctor had informed him that it was no longer a question of if he would have a stroke, but when. We had both gained weight over the years, and I teetered between 170 pounds and 160. He worked all the time, and we both stressed over how we were going to pay the bills and how we were going to raise our 5 children. When we did have time together, we were too tired to enjoy it. I had long suffered from issues with chronic inflammation. Being in pain became my normal, and if I wasn't aching, then I knew it was just a matter of time before the next flare-up. You know, people joke about being able to predict the weather with their joint pain, but I honestly felt like a human Doppler radar. I was diagnosed with bursitis at age 15, and that was the beginning of the end of doing things that I loved to do, like playing softball and soccer and dancing. I did try out for running track, cross country nonetheless, and on the first day I ran from the school parking lot down Ward Boulevard and directly to the McDonald's. I don't think I was cut out for track life. In the years that followed, I saw multiple doctors, orthopedic surgeons, physical therapists, massage therapists, and a very heavy-handed chiropractor. They gave me prednisone shots in my hip, prednisone in the form of a pill. I remember being held down by 2 nurses and a doctor so they can inject cortisone into my lower back, and I screamed and I cried. I was in my 20s at the time, and I felt absolutely helpless. I had plenty of couch time. I'd lay there in pain thinking of all the things that I would do once the flare-up was over. I'm going to start eating better. I'm going to start to exercise. I'm going to live life and fulfill my purpose. Then in March of last year, we saw a post on Facebook from one of my childhood friends. It was of her husband's physical transformation, and I shared that post with my husband right away. Soon after, we started the program that my friend and her husband had so much success following. A month into the program, my husband was off of all of his blood pressure medication. By the 3rd month, we had lost over 135 pounds combined. To put that in perspective, my oldest son, who is 16, weighs about 120 pounds. So essentially, together, we lost an entire teenage boy. For me, the greatest gift wasn't the physical transformation or losing weight at all. I mean, that was a plus, don't get me wrong. But the greatest gift was the new life we were able to live. I was living pain-free for the first time in over 20 years. We no longer had to sit on the sidelines of our life watching everyone else enjoy themselves. We were finally able to join in, to become present in that moment, and to show up for our children in a way that we hadn't been able to before. As we started the program, we experienced one win after another, and this built the momentum we needed to see a real change in our lives. You know, at some point, I think we had both bought into the idea that in order to change our situation, we had to be 100% ready. I mean, countless times I've heard the same ideology from others. I'll start working on my health when I'm 100% ready. I'll kick that habit when I'm 100% ready. If a doctor tells you that you're pre-diabetic, are you able to say, no, not today, doc. I'm not 100% ready for that. Check back with me in a few years. But we have more control over the changes we experience than we often think. I started coaching a program that potentially saved my husband's life and definitely transformed both of our lives. A month after we started a program, I already believed in its potential to change lives. My goal in coaching was as simple as this. I wanted to share the gift of health with my family, and really anyone seeking help with making positive changes in their lives. And in the course of this last year, it's been my honor to touch the lives of 104 people. Some of these people were able to reverse their diagnosis of either being diabetic or pre-diabetic. Some were able to start doing things that they thought they'd never do again, like running for fun. Some were able to start living bigger lives with their children. Some gained back confidence, and some were able to fit in clothes that they hadn't worn since high school. Then there were some that went on program with the hopes of growing their family, and they accomplished just that. One of my favorite wins happened between a father and his son when the father outran his teenage son. This man had suffered a heart attack a few months before, but he didn't use that as an excuse to give up or give in. He kept working towards his goals, and he gave it his all, and because of that, his children learned a valuable lesson, that determination and commitment and drive paves the road to success in all things. There's another father that I've had the honor of coaching that told me the story about how he walked into his daughter's basketball game, and some of the girls that he used to coach when his daughter was younger saw him walk in, and they all started applauding him and cheering him on because they were absolutely blown away by his transformation. I realized that change is scary. In fact, we're designed to avoid things that cause us fear. Instinctually, we protect ourselves from danger and uncertainties. For most of us, it's not until we get that scary diagnosis that we start searching for change in another direction. For the first time in years, I was able to focus on more important things in life. I was able to see past self and devote my attention to my loved ones, and I started seeing life in a completely different light. My mom paid me the biggest compliment the other day. I was apologizing for the fact that most of our conversations loop back around to health tips or about something I've learned recently involving health. And she stopped me mid-apology and said, "Stop apologizing for trying to make sure that I'm healthy. You couldn't show love any greater way than to try to help us feel better and live better, because that's exactly why I decided to do what I do. It's my way of paying love forward. It was my coach's love for sharing health with others that ignited the fire in my heart. It was that one post that she shared on her timeline that made me think, look what's possible. Because I know what it feels like to live in survival mode. I know what it means to go from one day to the next on autopilot, to live with the belief that there's no freedom from pain, that your only option is to find the right method to manage it. As a health coach, I get to do the most amazing thing, like help others see that their impossible is possible. Not too long ago, I started sending my children all of these inspirational videos, and finally Caden comes to me and he says, "Why do you keep sending us all of these videos about people that struggled?" And I told him, "I'm not. I'm sending you videos about how people overcame." I send my children these videos because, like Jim Kwik explains, our internal dialogue becomes the program that our brain runs. So I take every opportunity to help my children start the day with a positive story. Just in case they encounter a challenge that requires a positive outlook, that their inner voice says, "Yes, you can,"